Beings, it's Reverend Jacob here with your December readings for 2016. Can you believe the holiday season is here and that it's almost the end of the year? I nearly cannot. Let me just say happy birthday to all the Sagittarians in the house. It's your solar return. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you. Okay, so this is an M for mature audiences only channel. Please only be watching it if you are considered a legal adult wherever you're watching it. And you might not want to watch it if you don't like people that use strong language. And we'll talk about some difficult things because a lot of times the messages that come up, especially in the channeled section at the beginning of all my videos, can be a little hectic. So if you don't like that kind of brutal honesty, I am not your guy. In addition to that, you might also want to keep in mind that it's a good thing to look at your sun, your moon, and your rising signs. These can't apply to everybody in specific. I try to break them down so that they will be, because I will also interpret just the cards and also the specific messages that come up. But in some cases, you might resonate more with how your emotional sector is playing out, which would probably play more heavily into your moon sign, depending on your composition. And in other cases, your rising sign. So if you don't know what any of this means, you probably need a birth chart. My darling, lots of people on the internet will do it for free. So run a Bing, do a Google, you will find it, and then come back and click on the link. There's going to be 4 videos here. Each video is broken down by tribal element, and there are chapters that are in the description box where you can click on the link that will take you to your sign. The beginning of all of my videos tends to be me shuffling, doing energetic calibrations, getting the mojo going around the energies that are coming up, and basically just doing whatever channeled stuff comes up from spirit. So I recommend seeing them. A lot of people tell me they're pretty fascinating and they find messages that were highly specific and relevant in their world there. So watch that if you like, but you don't need to. You can just go into the description box and click your link. Again, sun, moon, and rising would be my recommendation to you. I am probably going to misgender you, and it's absolutely unintentional. I'm going to interpret things the way I hear them and experience them, and you know what? It's up to you to know who you are. I think you know your own gender, and I think you know the people in your life's genders and how these may or may not relate. Stories can interchange and flip-flop. I'm reading for a lot of people potentially. But if I start to hammer on your story or you just want a little closer look, I'm running some ridiculous specials and you should text me. So I'm going to tell you, if you want a private reading, go to www.artoflove.me, and I will be happy to do that. Just click services up at the top. I'm going to be running pretty awesome special on my year ahead forecasts that are highly specific, where I do a unique divination into your own life and world to give you an idea of what exactly you need to be aware of in the upcoming year. It also has a sort of a filter that I put into it to help you understand your past karma and the dharma, so future forward, so that you're taking advantage of the opportunities that are coming your way, because I hear there are a lot of them that are coming in 2017 for many of us. So it's going to be kick-ass. That's usually a 2-hour reading that I charge $277 for, and it's on a ridiculous special that's not listed on my website, so you need to send me an email at prayer@fatheroftribes.com to get some more information on that. I'd love to do it. I'm going to break these down the way I normally do here. There's going to be 5 different cards that I use from 5 different decks. The first one is going to outline the challenge style energy using Carolyn Mace's archetype cards. For the physical material realm, we'll be looking with the Rider-Waite-Smith Tarot deck. For the mental sector, I use the John Holland Psychic Tarot Oracle deck. And for the personal, sometimes romance sector, we use Doreen Virtue's Romance Angels Oracle deck, and I seal them all up with another Doreen Virtue deck. That is her Archangel Michael deck, because it's got good practical advice and a prayer, and that's how I like to seal things up here. So that's what I've got for you, and I hope you like it, and I hope it's an awesome December for you. I will be back again in a couple of weeks for a mid-monthly tune-up, and I'm also going to do a little something special looking forward into the year. So working on all that for you. I hope you like it. Drop me a comment if you did, and thank you so much for your thumbs up, your shares, and your subscribes. I really appreciate it, and I especially have love for all y'all who have chosen me to be your messenger. Thank you for the private readings that you have allowed me to do for you, and thank you so much to those of you who have patronized me with no request of anything. It's actually been pretty surprising for me, so I appreciate all of you. Sending you my love, and I'll see you on the inside of your reading. Greetings, air tribes. Happy December to you! So, I've been clearing the space here today. Just getting the mojo going for y'all. And I was getting some pretty cool messages for my air tribes. And if you're new to this channel and you don't like channel messages, feel free to skip ahead. This is for people who like that stuff. I get spirit messages. In the beginnings of my videos, I share them. So, it's kind of a lotto. Might be something for you, perhaps not. Feel free to jump ahead. Just go in the description box, click one of the chapters. I recommend seeing your sun, your moon, and your rising. Alright, for those that want to hear what came up while I was clearing space here, I just kept seeing, I was kind of doused with multiple images all at one time, and I'm hearing it's for a lot of y'all, and they're saying something about birth to creative ideas, and that, you know, look, let's be honest. 2016 has been quite a year for many people. I'll say of turbulence, okay? These have been some highly polarizing times, and in all of it, to all of us that have made it to today, I think we can probably agree that our minds and eyes may have been open to some things that had been very unclear previously. And that might play out in any number of ways. That is clearly just a broad stroke, statement. And if you haven't had any striking, sometimes harsh revelations, there's still a few weeks left in this year, so not to be your, heavy dun-dun-dun-dun, but it's, we still have time for you to be surprised in some ways. And I'm hearing that it's really important to just make sure that you renew your mind, in a sense, about what it is that you're really experiencing, because there's like a hidden blessing for a lot of people here. And I say hidden because we've all been trained by life to have certain response to stimulus and things, and to throw them into like the good bucket or the bad bucket, or this is good or bad, or this person's good or bad. And it's like this really like binary limiting construct that, let me be the one to say bullshit here, I will call it on that, because life is not just black and white. And some things that we have held onto to be evident as truth might expand how we interpret things like truth. And we may have come into contact with that in new ways over this year, is all I'm saying. And if you haven't had any revelations like that, maybe you've been too busy with life to have taken the time to process some of the things that have been happening. I think that if you will kind of just go into your mind a little bit and use your own intuition about the things that have happened and where you've come from, you might notice that things aren't all the way that we have been told in the past. Okay, just put it that way. And the reason why I'm on this message very strongly is because I'm just getting very powerful destiny messages for many people. And it's not limited to any of the tribes. I believe personally, based on what I'm sensing and my analysis and what I've heard from other people that study the cosmos and practice mediumship and metaphysics of some sort. The next year, 2017, it's going to be a pretty radical year for a lot of y'all. And I'm just hearing that it's a good time to refresh some of what you've allowed yourself to attach to as hard truths and facts about even your own preferences and things that you like or dislike, or what it means to be you in your life experience as it pertains to how you affect the collective consciousness and everything around you. And they keep telling me artist, and I keep seeing just lots of images, so many different kinds of images of different people. And in this case, I'm being told these are the people with the strong air element in their constitution. So perhaps while you're here, sun, moon, rising, and, Aquarius, Libra, Gemini, which incidentally is the order that I'm going to be taking these readings when we get into the more specific tribes. But I digress. Spirit has been showing me some of y'all at work in ways that I'm being told are, in some cases, it's like, if some of you are going to be like, oh, pinch me, this isn't really happening, when it actually happens, because you haven't really noticed, like, just the powerful implications of what a slight adjustment can have on a trajectory looking out into the future. And I like the analogy. I don't fucking play golf. I'll just tell you that. I don't play golf. But there's a good analogy with this. I've watched it before, and I've definitely got respect for people that, practice the sport. It's a precision sport. And the difference between like a hole-in-one and like a kind of shit swing for some people is like 2 degrees. So it's like such a minute adjustment on an exertion level as far as like the physical direction of it, in contrast to how that plays itself out in a trajectory long term. And I'm hearing that some of you didn't even realize that just like slightly being attuned to things in your environment due to whatever gets or has been exposed that's maybe challenged some of the ways you've grasped or held onto these foundational core assets that we use as a framework for how we deliver our lives and our energy and our intent and our focus and everything that manifests in your life, basically. That little adjustment in some cases has set you all up for a really powerful direction that in some cases is so much closer to a dream that you had when you might have been teensy or weensy, just a little younger person, less jaded perhaps. Maybe when you were still encouraged inside of yourself to dream because you hadn't had a bunch of shit happen that was snatching at your dream and telling you that you couldn't, or showing you why things couldn't work, and all that stuff that life has a way of teaching us in sometimes painful ways, right? So it's so fun because I was actually seeing people on stage receiving awards, giving speeches, having accolades made about them. I was hearing surprise too, surprise encouragement, recognition that you didn't maybe realize you had coming for something, and things that you've done, and in some cases just because it was like you following the love in your heart, and not necessarily because you were like trying to get brownie points, but I'm hearing that the frequent flyer miles that you've accumulated may have been pretty good. And it's going to be surprising for some people because they're going to find themselves almost kind of foisted into something very positive. And I'm hearing this isn't really just about December. I'm hearing for some of y'all for sure there's going to be at least an awareness of how this is manifesting in your world and becoming more tangible. In some cases, it's actually going to be events or things that are going to be happening where you're actually going to experience this and kind of have like a surreal moment of, oh, holy shit, am I really here? Kind of thing. Because some of it is like stuff you didn't even realize you were doing at that level. And the praise that is so rightly yours, that is like the positive mirror of that part of your soul that is the reason why you actually even came here in the first place and endured all that other crazy stuff to make you humble enough to fully actualize in this moment. So I'm just being told, keep an open mind, and that there's a power in you renewing your mind right now to just be open to the fact that some of you all are some magical motherfuckers. And I'm getting a lot of magic with this one. It's so funny. I'm actually going to show you a couple cards. I don't usually keep these out, but when I clear the space for these, sometimes I get emphatic messages. I had a couple, I think coming up, I think it was with, I don't remember. Sorry. These have been hectic with all the channeled messages. And I don't always document everything that comes through the channel just later. I'll just write down the cards and stuff as a reference point for myself. But it was either fire or earth tribes. There's something about, actually in that case, it was about somebody's engagement, marriages and proposals and stuff coming out. But here, I was getting messages of people on stage. I was seeing people performing music, singing, doing various different kinds of art, like live art kind of stuff. I saw like a magician doing some crazy shit like on a stage that looked really dangerous actually, but it was cool and everybody loved it. And no like weird spooky dying things, just like real legit cool stuff, like illusionists. I have to have a qualm with your use of the word magic. I'm sorry. Some of us actually know what magic is, and I don't like the use of the word in that terms. I call that illusion work, but it said something about the great magician, so I'm not trying to discredit you or anything. I just like to keep magic where it belongs. Okay, it has a K in it, and it's nothing about tricks. Okay, now that I said that, I will just tell you the magician card actually did fly out of my deck, and it was like right on top of the Hierophant, and I don't know how exactly it happened because I hadn't gotten there yet, but my Psychic Tarot Oracle deck was next to it, and like sometimes the guides like literally just fuck with me when they're here, and I invite them in because it's a clean space, so I trust this, and they literally will kick things over, knock them out, stuff goes flying. And this 2 intuition card is actually, this is modeled to be the High Priestess and the John Holland. In the John Holland deck, this 2 intuition is modeled to be the High Priestess from like the Rider-Waite-Smith Tarot System style deck. So this is actually like, in my opinion, that's the power couple right there, man. Like, you get your Emperor and Empress too, but they can be a little crusty and boring too, right? These are the badasses here. And that's like badassery, right? It was just too cool that they came out, and that the Hierophant was like right underneath this one, and I was hearing something about like power unions. Go Power Rangers! And that's, was underneath the High Priestess, trapped in fear. I was hearing about some cases as like being some kind of, it's very romantic for some people. It's coming together, and it's freaking serious. I'm hearing it's like artistic creation. I'm hearing things about like soulmates and twin flame unions that are coming together, that are like literally cracking some codes that people have said can be done, and a lot of people have misinterpreted or told you some bullshit about because they wanted to sell you a book that you might have actually written with your life. You're going to know if it's for you. I'm hearing for some of y'all, it's just really about making sure, tapping the intuition, okay? Don't be afraid of the things that you are. You are magical gods and goddesses in human form that sometimes we're imprisoned in your own minds by life because that was the only way to train you properly. And I'm going to encourage you to think about it that way and keep an open mind about what's happening, especially if you find yourself like kind of pushed out into a certain arena where you have an opportunity to shine and show the things that you are. I'm hearing in some cases, some of y'all might have been groomed by some evil parents. I heard the word evil. They keep showing me Scorpio and like stuff with 8 and like the 8th house and like, you know, I'm hearing this trapped 8 thing has something of a Scorpionic influence, and that some of this might just be residual fear about whatever got exposed when all that weird shit was going on in the Scorpio season. Fortunately, we have just passed through. And hurrah to everybody for surviving difficult things that might have come to light. You know, nothing's ever easy. That's like ends up being worth it, I think. You know, so for some of you, just the fact that you survived something so fucked up, if you allow yourself to enter into this space with your creative license as the artist that I'm being told many of you are, well, I'm seeing you all on stage getting accolades and like praise. And in some cases, just delivering information to people that are like really thirsty for something that they can use that's actually accessible. That in some way you've demonstrated by surviving that. Let that be a testament to you about that which you are, because you've embodied it. Maybe you're an earth angel, you know? Maybe that's a part of your dharma. Maybe your dharma is to be that light so that others will never suffer the way you've learned to heal yourself through whatever that was, right? And so some of you are imparted with a very special seed. And I would encourage you to look into what it means to be a star seed, because I'm being told that many of you are, and that many of the people that are here watching this channel right now have been looking for information to help them explain what it is that they were being groomed for. Because, you know, when you're going through the meat grinder, these questions come up. It's like, you know, what did I do to deserve this? And, you know, man, was I really shitty in my past life? And, you know, all that self-sabotaging stuff. And that's one way that we've been taught to think about it. But, you know, maybe try this one on if it makes sense for you. Maybe try thinking about how it might have been the only way to prove to you who the fuck you really are. And that little voice that told you when you were little inside, that you might have heard somewhere or felt, was letting you know that there was something you were being initiated into or that you were doing, and it was so muddy, and it was just like, you know, you had these things that you wanted to do and you were interested in, and a lot of times that's the stuff that somebody really chastised you about or like tried to spook you away from or told you were evil for. Trust me, I know. I was spiritually abused like that by my parent, and it almost cost me everything. I almost gave up because I was literally like trained in that way too. And you know what I found out? It gave me pain thresholds that literally made me indestructible and impervious to even modern medicine being able to fucking kill me. And they did. Sometimes life can be brutal like that. And it can teach you some things about why it was actually worth it to have gone through it in a way that I'm not going to dumb it down. I'm hearing it was freaking awful for many of you. And if my own personal experience of what awful is any sort of an indication or barometer for me to give you a nod and acknowledge the pain that you have lived through, to still be there looking for things to help you understand your light because you still want to share it with others, let me tell you something, darling. God bless you. You're on a path. This is your path. And sometimes it's just learning to look at yourself more kindly. And I'm hearing a lot of y'all, especially I was seeing it a lot for the fire tribes, had been just, I was seeing them like a whole bunch of images too. Like I was seeing you guys doing creative stuff on stages, and I was seeing them like meditating and focusing, and I was seeing like all these colors like going everywhere, people like buying stones and like clearing their chakras and like trying to like learn about things like their pineal gland and how to like buying water filters and doing things to just kind of clean up the act a little bit and treat themselves a little better. And it was magical what I was seeing, and what I kept hearing was going to be so awesome for them. And the guides are reminding me to tell you too. And in some cases, you got some strong fire in your chart. You have fiery people. And sometimes that's like a good chemistry, you know, it's like setting up, you know, air and fire can kind of project one another, right? And so when the synergies are good there, it's like, it can just be a very magical thing. And I think in some cases, that's why these power couples are showing up. It's like, you know, somebody that's like fueling the fire, and it's like, it's happening. I heard, you know, unions are happening with this. And I also just heard that, you know, on some of this, it's going to be a really good time to just, when you know, especially if you find yourself in one of those relationships, whether it's like romantic or like business, career, because in some cases, that's what it's going to be. It's going to be learning how to trust partnership of some kind. It doesn't have to be romantic for everybody. There's a certain level of like, I was hearing the word vulnerability, and you know, it was about knowing when to trust, right? And they were just saying that, you know, the things that are coming forward now, if they're a resonance match for you, some of this is going to be really you exercising that which you've like now seen coming back to you in a positive way in your life, and seeing if you can even meet yourself at that level by checking in for how it feels. And that is a demonstration of your intuition. And I'm hearing in many cases, had it not been so brutal before for you to learn how to anticipate problems, you know, if you hadn't have been trapped in those mental prisons, you know, trapped in fear, I keep hearing Scorpio influence. Even though this is an air card for me, you know, a lot of times it's like your Eight of Swords if you're referencing the Rider-Waite-Smith Chariot. It's like a mental prison, and I'm being told that if it wasn't for that, you wouldn't have the depth of awareness for what it feels like on this side or this side. And so it's like you are basically like a level now. And so it's about feeling into that space. And so it's like knowing when you can trust. And in some cases, it's going to be pure fucking liberation. And they're just telling me one way or the other, you can't miss if you're trusting your own inner judgment. And so, you know, that's never going to lead you astray, and it never did before. That's actually what kept you alive till today. If you haven't started writing these things down, please document, even if it's just for yourself, because I'm being told some of y'all have just amazing novels to be written. I'm hearing, you know, poems. I'm hearing music. I'm seeing people just sharing things in community sort of way. Like it's almost like manuscripts of education showing people practical ways to basically hack their way out of fucked up situations. And so there's power in you renewing your mind for all of that. And I just feel like it's going to be a wonderful time for some of us to take time to go within. You know, we've got a Mercury retrograde coming up too. It's a really great time to just like focus in with that. And I was hearing too, some of y'all don't get too spooked out, because I heard that some people have been getting into relationships recently. There have been a lot of hookups, surprise hookups to come between people that really understand each other on levels that, you know, I say level, what the fuck does that mean, right? You know, there's really no words for some of the things, because it's like, it's an energetic meeting, okay? It's like sharing energy together in a very cohesive fashion, where the communication is not limited to these words and constructs, right? And that some of those relationships, so I'm going to call them spiritual relationships here, however you're pair bonded, you know, your soulmate, your twin flame, whatever you want to call it. I'm not going to tell you or dogmatize that. But these kind of unions where there's this exchange and supplementation back and forth between energetic souls, spirits, hearts. I'm being told that this is actually possibly going to be a very healing time because it's a new way to experience what Mercury retrograde actually offers and the light attributes that has probably been lacking for a lot of people in so many other ways. And I keep seeing them saying that, it's okay to like incubate. And I keep seeing, who was I getting it for? There was actually one of the cards that would come up. I think it was, I wrote that one down. This is for one of the tribes. I don't know. Aries. Aries got the actual card. The card, I'm seeing the same image. It's one of my Archangel Michael cards. It says, admit the truth to yourself and act accordingly. And it's like this person, a magical person, standing. They got like a bird in their hand. There's like animals everywhere. They've got this unicorn behind them. And they've got this like bubble of light around their head. And the really strong message that I was getting, and they're telling me for some of y'all, that's just you realizing you're a starseed and remembering how you came here when you descended to Earth to do the things that now you're doing, even if you don't remember them all yet. But, so there's that. But the way they were explaining with the Earth, with Aries, it was like about protecting your namaste space. Right? Protecting that energy. And I'm hearing that it might be really interesting for some people that have found themselves in that kind of pair bond where that energy is already being shared, and to see how protected you've actually always been in ways that might really blow your mind about the path of your soul and what it is that you're actually doing here and the safety that you have and the protection that's always been there and giving you, in some cases, that fire you needed to just like put it out there and to do it in a way that matters and feels good and that is already, maybe before you're even ready in your mind, showing you what you're doing. Powerful. So I was really freaking pumped on that because, hey, I got a big one invested in this too. I'm an Aquarius sun. And I know a lot of y'all, my air tribes people, especially those of you that have had readings with me, I'm seeing some of y'all's faces doing some really cool shit because I get your messages all the time. And kudos to you. Say hi 20, hi 30. Let's go for upgrades, guys, as well as others. This is the year. And, I'm already talking about it like it's 2017. I know this is like a December reading, but they're showing me now. And so I'm just hearing, settle down. Give yourself the space to enjoy this. And when Mercury's retrograde, sometimes you don't want to deal with things. And maybe before you used to feel like kind of obligated to kind of have to like go along with it and stuff. And it's like now you've learned this thing about healthy boundaries, which is shit fucking hard for air signs to get, because how do you structurize air? I mean, it's like trying to capture the freaking wind. When are you going to go out there with like a mason jar and like try to catch it? It's not going to be wind anymore, is it? It's like, no, that's not how it works. You can't do that because it's like your energy is like, it's just constantly in motion. And so learning to sort of anchor and harness that sort of energy is not always something that is intuitive when we're living in like a dimensional world with boundaries and constructs. It's kind of just like alien, right? It makes you feel like an alien. And I'm hearing a lot of y'all grew up feeling like little aliens. And you might be starseeds. So it's fun because it's like I'm hearing for some of y'all that just the fact that Mercury is going to be in retrograde is going to be fun for you because it's kind of going to be like now you've got this tool where you know something about like the healthy boundaries and like the way things work, and you might find yourself in a situation where you're not having to like explain all this to somebody that's just not on the same page with you. Because I'm hearing in some cases, some of it for you all hasn't been horrible. It's like you've had somebody in your life, maybe it was a relationship, and you know, you're on your spiritual path and you've been going through some bullshit, and maybe that person's been there physically present, and they're like, oh, I support you, but it's not for me, you know, and it's like, that sounds okay to somebody that doesn't get it, and they really might think they support you by being inertia in your life, and perhaps to some point that was very valid. It was the mirror that you needed to see how much you grew and like where you needed to readjust. But I'm hearing in some cases it's like, no, some of y'all are just kind of like, that's not supporting me. It's like keeping me from my growth, right? And so some of y'all are actually going through that where you're actually going to leave that relationship. And I'm hearing feel good about it, because it's like you needed to see yourself differently to feel good about it, and now you are. And in others, it's like now you've found yourself in a whole different kind of relationship where it's like kind of somebody that is like you. They get you. And it's like you're just helping balance each other because the energy is being shared, you know, it's cohesive. And so it's like if something's lacking in one area, this other one kind of like pulls it back into balance, or vice versa. And they keep showing you like a level, like if you ever tried to like hang something and it's not level, and it's like the liquid kind of moves and it shows you where you need to adjust. And I'm being told that it's almost like two hands, now that the energy is being shared, just keeping it adjusted. And that some of y'all are going to have like the experience of that while everything else is experiencing the same bumping your head into the freaking wall, Mercury retrograde crap, and like self-inflicted insertions into the meat grinder and things that you've already experienced. And it's not judging all that or other people's place in it, but knowing that it's okay for you to say, I don't want to. In some cases, I'm seeing people just like turning down invitations for things, like those fun get-togethers where it's like you feel like you have to go and then you regret it later because it's like some fucking drama, or you just feel like you just came back like tense, or it's like, man, I would have rather had like a nap with that one right here, you know, than watch you guys get sloppy and not have anything in common with you anymore. That I kind of already knew that. And so I'm hearing that there's going to be an empowering time for many of you to just be saying things like no and feeling okay about it. Not like you're rejecting people, but that you've made so many positive changes that you found yourself in a place of healthy ego that maybe you haven't had before. So high five to that. High 10 for that. Keep working on your solar plexus. I was hearing for a lot of people, you know, carnelian right now just kept coming up. This is pretty awesome. I love this piece. This piece is freaking dope. I got this at the Denver Gen Show. It's like really deep on some sides. It's like white and orange on others. And it's like really like lower chakra stuff. And I'm hearing this is a great time for that. It's going to help you feel good about how you do or don't communicate with others and the posture that you take in it. Because it's okay to say no to things and people, and I'm hearing in some cases some of y'all might be turning away invitations from either the ones that like need to come back and like want to try to have their closure even if you never got yours or whatever, and it's kind of like you learning how to not have to be like, oh, I told you so, or, well, now you think you can come back and I'm so good and now you want me. And, you know, you don't have to be like that. I'm hearing a lot of this is like, you know, root chakra balancing, and you might find yourself in a position where you can just be kind about it, and where you might realize that you don't actually owe anybody an explanation as to why you don't want to participate with that. You know, you don't really owe anybody that. And so in some cases, you might actually have to say it. And, there's a way to do it where, it doesn't have to be bad. And I'm hearing that might be important because there was some mudslinging that I was seeing with some of the fire tribes, and it came up again with the earth tribes too. And I was hearing the words defamation of character. And I'm hearing for some of y'all, especially if you're doing any sort of like healing arts or anything where you're working with sensitive information and people, especially people that might admire you and like try to be like getting things from you that aren't theirs to take or that you don't want to give. And I was hearing, and I don't feel like I'm not seeing it as aggressive with you guys. That doesn't mean it won't be for some of y'all, but I'm being reminded to tell you, shield your space, look into psychic protection, ground your lower chakras, and just know that just because somebody comes back wanting closure, you don't have to really engage it. You may have already forgiven that person and forgiven yourself for your level of participation, right? And in some cases, you might just have an opportunity and you might actually be bumped into or accessed in some way by this person. And that, you know what? Sometimes it's very simple to just say, thank you. I've already forgiven the situation. And I wish you well. And just leave. There's really, you don't have to say anything else. And I'm hearing in some cases, some of y'all are going to be really classy about how you deal with that. And in some cases, it might be very difficult, especially if, somebody who's been especially vitriolic in your life decides to show up in some kind of way. And you might actually witness this, if not, directed at you, to someone in your vicinity. I was getting, I think it was with Capricorn. I want to say it was with Capricorn. You might have like Capricorn people in your life or in your chart or a child that might be Capricorn. I don't know. There was something coming up with a Capricorn or around that energy. And they were saying that, it was almost like somebody was like insisting that somebody's like something about somebody's child. And I was seeing it being really like, especially acrimonious, let's say. And at least the guides that I'm hearing, and it might be the same ones, but they're all like saying that it's like really, like it's been a negative thing. And if you probably know if it's been going on. And I'm hearing it's a lot of like, just like really slanderous gossip, and that it was trying to like take this person off their life path. And I'm hearing that it might be really hard, especially if it's like your kid or something. It was something with somebody's child. And I just kept hearing that the hardest part is going to be like holding it together and like not like reacting, because they were saying, and this can't be true for everybody, but it is a cautionary note, that in some cases the best tact might be to not respond at all, because I was hearing that there's some kind of documentation and evidence about who and what your child actually is and has been, and how they've lived and who they are and aren't, and that it's like especially obvious, and that especially if this is something that's like going in court somewhere, it might just be better to not respond, react, and, definitely seek the counsel, qualified counsel. But I'm hearing in some cases, like, the exposure that's going to happen to the person who was, like, pointing the fingers, and, like, I'm hearing making up stories, and they're saying in some cases it was, like, almost like it wasn't intentional, but then it became intentional because that person has, like, a really, like, hostile ego way of demonstrating themselves. But they were saying something about how that person has already been exposed in some kind of way, and that it's just much better to let it go that way, because basically the whole thing, it will just be evident that that one person precipitated all of it, and that it had nothing to do with your kid. And so I'm praying for that situation. It seems really freaking shady, and maybe that's like specific to not a whole lot of people. I'm hoping it's not specific to a lot of people, But I'm just hearing that there was some really like covert tactics, and they're saying something about an abuse of power and authority. And I'm hearing in some cases it was like a very, very deceptive person that they're saying wolf in sheep's clothing to me. And so it's like not the person that shows who they are. It's like somebody that's had like an illusion that they've built up. And I'm hearing in some cases it's like it's become a pathology about who they are and who they've portrayed themselves to be. And so whatever it is, I'm just hearing that, you know, there were some strong messages about karmic justice. And so I especially want to bring it up if anybody's like dealing with anything that's resonating on that level, that maybe that's what this trapped in fear is all about. And they're just saying, you know, this High Priestess intuition card showed up for more than one reason. This, in some cases, I'm hearing spiritual holy matrimony between the cosmic lovers. And in other cases, I'm hearing this is like just like that union within yourself, because that's where that all starts anyway. So especially if you've been feeling trapped in something, or if it's like a difficult process while you're dealing with that, I was hearing there's not much more. And if this should be an indication of time, in this deck, the John Holland Psychic Tarot, these go 1 to 9. They don't go 1 to 10 or Ace to X like the Rider-Waite-Smith does. So in this situation, they're basically saying that it's almost over. And, you know, the best thing you can do is rely on your inner guidance, and in some cases, seek qualified professionals. You know, I'm hearing in some cases you might need someone to pull a rabbit out of their hat to help you with that, and that person should be a professional. So, you know, apply it where it belongs and be responsible about it. But anyway, I've been really long with this. Those were very important to me, and I think they're going to apply for some people, and I was just told that my air tribes needed to hear it. I'm going to move my chi, and then I'm going to come back, shuffle the decks, and then we are going to go Aquarius, Libra, Gemini, that order. Be right back. All right, so go ahead and just get started to shuffle, and I won't really say anything unless I have a pop-out message or something to say. Page of Cups just kind of flipped itself out upside down. I'm hearing for some of y'all, that's just like, wow. I heard bubble of truth. And you're just saying it's just like, there might be some kind of seemingly spontaneous truth bubbles. I'm hearing in some cases it's because somebody's bubble got burst. I don't know that that's you. That's weird. I don't know how that happened, but that was flipped up at the top while I was shuffling. Judgment. I'm hearing in some cases the verdict was harsh. Oh, they're saying that's about those of you whose child has been infracted. Somebody's child was infracted. Somebody's child was abused or is being like negated or talked ill of in some ways. I'm hearing in some cases it was like a bad contract with something, or I don't know, something with a parent or a parental figure, some kind of judicious, authoritative figure involvement. And in some cases, it's because they're delivering a karmic justice on behalf of the younger individual that's been put upon. In other cases, I'm hearing it was somebody that was just abusive and abusing their authority, and that the bubble of truth has been burst. I'm hearing they shouldn't have been fucking with that person, because they're saying that person's divinely protected. You're going to know if it's for you, but I'm sorry if you're watching someone that you love struggle. There was definitely a water influence on that. Although, it doesn't have to be. It could be somebody that's got water in their constitution, sun, moon, rising, possibly in one of the water tribes. Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio, right? So I haven't gotten to those readings yet. I'm going to be doing those after I finish channeling for y'all. Yeah, they said it's almost over, though. I'm hearing something about it, like literally being almost concluded. They said that in some cases, it's like somebody needed to sign off on something. I don't know what it is. In some cases, I'm hearing it's about child custody, and that some of you all should be very careful. The things that you're saying around impressionable people that might be very emotional, especially if it was like, I'm seeing just like a very abusive parent, to be honest with you, somewhere. And how they were taking it out on your child, maybe emotionally, and I'm just seeing like a child literally being like severely beaten. It's fucking pissing me off. I'm not into that. Abuse stuff, especially with people's kids, hits an especially sore point with me. Although this is not a channel where I will judge people, I will tell you I have extreme feelings about that. I don't like it. I'm hearing the truth's coming out, though. They're saying that child's protected. I'm praying for that child. All those children. I'm praying for all the wounded children inside of all of us. I'm hearing some of y'all are doing some serious, you've been doing soul searching. I'm hearing with that Mercury retrograde, especially if you're lucky enough to have a loved one like that that's meeting you in that supplemental place, might be extremely healing. And this is like, wow, a really polarizing experience for some people, just because like the expanse of like the shit part to the good part, but then it's like, it's a healing bridge, and they're just showing me like, I'm seeing literally like two beings, like here and here, and like a bridge of light, like a rainbow kind of like going around them, and it's like protecting them. And it's really interesting. That went out. They said to burn some Kuan Yin for the soulmates. Who don't all have to be romantic. For many of you it is, though. hearing that Gemini is like trying to go first. It's like, it's funny. My guides keep reminding me, Aquarius, Libra, Gemini. And I keep hearing Gemini, Gemini, Gemini. It's like Gemini just wants to like freaking go. All right, Gemini, we're going to get there. You don't get to go first, though. The guides are saying you're going last. And it's not a bad reason, but I already got the order, okay? Chill, chill. It's going to be good. All right. Dealt everything. Gonna take a sip of this tea. Gonna light a piece of sage. And then we're gonna go Aquarius, Libra, Gemini. What's up, Aquarius? How you doing? Happy December to you. Gonna flip your cards. If you didn't see the channeled message, it was long in the beginning. Might be important for some of y'all. Yeah. A lot of y'all had some messages. I'm not going to repeat them too much. Just hearing all that stuff that you weren't sure was worth standing for is in the center of your reading right now. You need to know it was worth it. Because I'm hearing in some cases that's you sitting upright on the throne. You have ascended to the level of king. Dumb. Because of your pioneering spirit and fortitude that you've demonstrated in and within yourself. Big stuff. Big. I'm also hearing in some cases there has been, I will say, some separation with the children. In some cases it's like a deceased child, in which case my highest condolences are with you. I'm praying for your family. There's no expiration on how long or when people can grieve, so just new. Big angel showed up saying your children are watched over by angels, and some of y'all going through something legal where, you know, you're working out some custody with the children, and they're saying it's like, some cases been going on since like, you know, September. We might be dealing with a Virgo. In some cases, you know, it's the end of what you were waiting on. And in some cases, it's just like, you know, you're separated from your kids because there's something to deal with, like, whoever the male counterpart is or the female counterpart, the other parent.
I'm hearing it's like a big major change, and that you need to just know the kids are safe, even if you're going through some separation sort of thing. And I'm hearing for other people too, you might really want to check those channel messages, because there's something about like something being said or done towards your kid, and that might be what this separation is all about, is like trying to detach from the situation a little bit, because I'm hearing it's like very negative, but it's being resolved favorably because your child is being protected. So some of y'all just need to know that, and you might want to go back and check. But overall, archetypal energy for the first part of the month could carry even longer through December. Aquarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, Pioneer card. Using the Carolyn Mace archetype deck, this states light attributes, passion for doing and creating what has not been done before. Shadow attributes, compulsive need to keep moving on. I was getting a lot of messages in the channel about some of y'all stepping into destiny and like doing things that have lit up your world and your heart, just like that picture shows, and that are creating luxury and abundance all around you. I'm hearing some of y'all got some fertile stuff happening, and in some cases, that's actually like a new relationship or a new job or a promotion of some kind. I'm hearing some of y'all took a major raise of some kind or elevation in your stature because of your pioneering spirit. All that gold right there is like your healed solar plexus, your healthy sense of self. I'm hearing a lot of y'all don't even realize that just by demonstrating the willpower within yourself to stand through some difficult situations, you've actually put yourself there. And in some cases, the separation here is not a negative thing. This is like you having time apart. Let me just edit what that says. Time apart from the bullshit is on your future horizon and always. Separation. Boom. Some cases, that's because you are being protected by angels. And it's because of the path that you've chosen. Some of y'all are some spiritual warriors. Yeah, some good stuff. So I'm hearing you might not have realized you set yourself up for some coin. In some cases, this is just to give you hope of what the energy is that's present. So even if this hasn't quite like materialized, because I know some of y'all just needed to know that this separation was coming, because I'm hearing in some cases this is not a bad thing. This is like, please exodus me out of this garbage. And this is like somebody just like, angels, Calgon, take me away, wanting to get on with it because Pioneer is ready to do something. It's got a heart fire, a fire on the mind, right next to this awesome, beautiful king. This person, if that's a person, external to you, if that's not you, because this could be you, like I was saying, just on your throne in a way that's now like materializing into a pretty nice life there, right? I mean, let's be honest, this individual, whoever they are, doesn't look like they have to get up for much. It's like everything has come to them. It's like sprouting off of everything. It's like, this guy's got like stuff all over him. He's even growing berries. Look at that. It's a pretty good situation. So I'm hearing in some cases that's you all having manifested like a big dog, and in some cases not yet being aware of it, because in some cases you had to really like retreat within yourself to just like hold it together. I'm just like seeing some of y'all just being like, God, please, help me, or angels, or like whatever you pray to. And what I'm seeing is that it's like while you were doing this, they were like sending it down. And it's like now you're finding yourself here. And I'm hearing in some cases it's just because that light inside of you was just shining forward, what was coming out of your heart. In some cases, you all need to know that, because I'm hearing in some cases you might be the child that was getting fucked over in some kind of way. And you need to know that those angels are telling you that you're protected. And even though it felt like you were just like that thing might have collapsed on you, there's like that big angel kind of holding it together with you. There's a support there. And in some cases, it's because, man, you're having to get out of something tough. I'm hearing in some cases there was an abusive relationship with whoever that person was, and that they might have been like this before, which is not great. You know, it's like a real shit position for that particular individual to be in. And that, you know, that's maybe what this is all about. In other cases, I'm hearing this is just about like finding a spiritual mate who's all that in a bag of chips or lots of berries, as it looks like in this picture. And that, you know, I'm hearing long distance. You know, it might just be like hasn't come together yet. But I'm hearing that there's plans. That's what the Pioneer does. So since this is the overall kind of like challenge style energy, Aquarius, you know, it can play out different ways. Let's call it a context clue into what might be going around you and how you might be tempted to act. I basically just use these to illustrate a point of situational awareness because these energies are flexible in my opinion. And it's just interesting to know how they operate so that you can kind of be, you know, an empowered observer for yourself. Because in some cases, all you've really been lacking in your life is a witness that's capable of holding your space. And in some cases, this is what you've been groomed to do by being your own spiritual strength. And that might be why it's on your mind. So here, Pioneer, we've got some keywords to keep in mind. 3 bullet points in the tip. Explorer, settler, pilgrim, innovator. First bullet point states, discovers and explores new territory, whether external or internal. Second one says, may initiate innovative fashions, art, music, or literature. The last one says, shadow pioneer manifests as a compulsive need to abandon the present and move on, never settling anywhere. And then the tip they want you to keep in mind here, Aquarius, says, ask if your life has been characterized by a need to consistently step on fresh and undiscovered territory in at least one realm. And I'm hearing hell to the yeah for a lot of y'all, and that's exactly like why you've gotten so strong, because you really did step off into something. I'm hearing in some cases it was just your own self, getting into your own mind, getting into your own psyche, getting into your own healing, getting into your mediumship, figuring out that maybe you weren't so broken, and that in some cases the separation is just you separating from these old dogmas and limiting beliefs, because whatever it is, darling, if this is you, or if you've called someone like this into your life, whether it's romantic or otherwise, that is a person, let's say, if it's a person who is extremely grounded, well-rounded, abundant, and highly generous, fertile, loving, caring, supportive. And the only reason why it's showing up is because some of y'all have been doing that for yourself. That's how you call in a good mirror. And if you don't know that yet, the energy is there for that. So what they're saying to you is if you aspire to have those kind of things materialize, all of the potential for it is ripe, literally ripe. And it's not upside down. So you can literally probably go and like pick some of those things off vines somewhere, because something is showing up like this. And I think you like it. It's upright. Could very well have something to do with others in your life, though, because, you know, that's a people card showing up in the physical material realm. I would be tempted to assume, well, let's not assume. I don't like that word. I would be tempted to consider that this could be a person showing up in your world with strong earth element. So maybe sun, moon, rising, something like that. One of your earth tribes. Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. If so, check out their messages. They have a lot of interesting stuff coming up in both the channelings and the personals. Okay, so, or generals, not the generals, is what I meant. But they are kind of personal because there are a lot of personal messages. So you might want to check that out because this might be a character that you're interacting with. And I just like seeing these two together because I'm hearing that even if this is like people that are separated, it's, you know, what's on your mind. These 9 wands is how that's usually illustrated in this deck here. Your 9 of wands card. And this are both upright. And this is speaking to like fortitude and inner wisdom. And I'm getting a good vibe here that there's something that's supportive here. And in some cases, okay, I do have to say this though, because in the other deck, if this was the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, this is your 9 of wands, and shit, somebody did get that. Who got it? Because I think they got it upside down too. Who was it? Here we go. 9 of wands. You might be dealing with a Taurus. You might have some Taurus in your chart. The way I was seeing it for Taurus did alarm me, though. And I have to say it just because I'm seeing it next to a card that could be very Taurian for me. I'm hearing knocked in the head. This card in this deck is demonstrated by an individual standing in a field of wands around them. They're looking guarded. They're holding onto one, maybe kind of leaning on it. And they've got like a big bandage on their head because somebody has literally been exacting themselves on this person. I'm hearing in some cases that might be what this separation is all about, having to leave some asshole. And I'm being told this is the time to do it, darling. I'm hearing that some of you just needed to know that you have something sturdy to sit on and something that's going to be, you know, even if it's not extravagant. I mean, this looks pretty extravagant here. But something to support you where you have, like, you know, the things that you need, a place to operate from, a base that's safe and comfortable and supportive, you know, and maybe somebody that's, like, willing to hug you properly. And that this pioneer might just be you feeling illuminated by that speaking to your heart and just being ready to go. And I'm hearing in some cases, darling, now's the time to do it. You know? Even if this doesn't have anything to do with children, this could be you being seen as like the child of the divine and being emancipated. Like I'm looking at this and I see angels like interceding and it's a separation, but it's like she's reaching for this guy and he's taking her away. I'm hearing for some of y'all, you just need to know that it's safe and that some of this is about communication, and I'm hearing how you say things is going to be important, especially if you're dealing with somebody that's got a blocked throat chakra. I don't know why I'm picking up on that, but they keep showing me 5, and I was just seeing like the 5 points in the pentacle here in this person's hand, and they were just telling me that, you know, it needs to be kind of like a gentle approach with that because this other person's throat chakra may be blocked, and it has something to do with how they're experiencing their own light. It's like the same color here. And I'm just hearing heart-centered is going to be really important, and that heart-centered dialogues are going to be important. I'm hearing, especially if this has to do with your children. You know, they are saying for some of y'all, this is actually an asshole, and that this person should be upside down. And they're showing me that, like, if it has something to do with your kids and there's, like, a separation. I'm hearing there was an abusive parent. Wow. Just showing me that image again with the stick, but this time it's on a young person. They're showing me the Page of Wands, like, being, like, bent over and, like, beaten. I'm seeing a belt. I'm seeing a stick. I'm seeing all kinds of shit that I don't want to see. And it's pissing me off. I'm just hearing if that's the case, like they're reminding me about mediation. Somebody was getting that message before. It was in the channel messages with either the earth or the fire tribes. And they were just saying in some cases, look, always, always, always safety first, right? So, you're going to know if you have a safe place or not. But in some cases I'm hearing somebody has raised a roof to create safety for you or your child. You need to know it. Make sure you check on those facts and attend to the details if you need to get the fuck out of Dodge. And I'm hearing in some cases, somebody's waiting. And they're just like, look, pull the seat, darling. There's room for the kid. You're going to know if it's for you. I'm going to read to you what the John Hall Psychic Tarot Oracle deck book says on the 9 Spiritual Strength card. So we're going to get some more clues here. Wow. The book opened up right to the page. That seldomly happens. Guess you all need to hear it. All right, Aquarius. This card is coming forth to give you encouragement and to remind you that you have the inner strength to complete whatever you've been working on. This final spirit card represents courage, discipline, stability, and persistence. You may be tired or weary from the struggle, but it's not the time to give in. Instead, tap into all of your inner reserves for that one final push to achieve the desired outcome. You've been through so much to get to this point, and even though you may have acquired some scars from the battle, you're wiser and stronger for it. The enlightenment you've gained will be an invaluable resource. You may also notice that you're experimenting with different things in your life at this time. All of these experiences feed your spirit and offer you knowledge for the future. It's good to know. And again, that's the last one. So there's no more heavy things to keep holding on your back. And I'm being told at this point too, that's actually the support you've called in, relieving you of that burden. And some of you need to know that, because that's actually what the separation is about. It's about separating from that difficult time where you had every burden on you, alone, feeling alone. They're saying you have protection now. I'm going to read you what the separation card says in the Archangel's Oracle deck. It could be different things for different people. This card says, time apart from your partner is on the horizon. I'm hearing some of y'all don't want that, and you just need to speak up. Separation. The romance angels are helping you during this period of separation from your partner. This card comes to you as an indication of angelic support as you spend time away from each other. While you're apart, the angels can help you fill your hours with healthy activities, which will help your present or future relationships. This card may indicate a temporary period of aloneness, such as while your partner is traveling for business, or a time in your life where you're single and preparing for your next relationship. It can also mean a marital separation or divorce. Call upon the angels for support and guidance during these transitions. They can help you discover the deep healing to be mined as you spend time alone, which prepares you for the next part of your relationship journey. Oh, that's really cool. I heard, this is interesting, you might have, oh man, I can't remember if it was fire or earth. There might have been an intermingling with them too. That you might have to check these other messages. I'm hearing in some cases, this is really awesome. Some of y'all are just you have a fire under your ass to make some these new starts. I'm hearing major innovations, awesome stuff. I'm hearing spiritual strength and partnerships. I'm hearing in some cases what you need to know about. It's you've been waiting on a partner that was stuck to some past stuff that they didn't want to be in. I'm hearing it was gross for some of them. And it's just or it got gross for some reason. And that right now, it's you trying to be really strong about being away from them, because I'm hearing in some cases they have a real douchey, controlling shitmeister in their life that won't sign what they need so that they can leave that person and marry you. I'm hearing that this guy sitting on the throne here, whether that's you or someone else, it could be he, she, they, is literally sitting there with the box with the ring in it. Is what they just knocked this out of my hand. Okay. Maybe I ruined someone's surprise. I don't know. Sorry. But no, I'm not sorry. Communicate with each other, all right? Pioneer. Do it. Be in your light. You're going to know if it's for you. All right. Hey, these are going really long. I'm going to wrap this one up on the tip and the prayer from Archangel Michael that your children are watched over by angels, Aquarius. Let me just say, too, if you guys are like interested in a really awesome reading, I'm doing my future forecast. It's a future forward forecast. It's usually end up being about 2 hours because of how I divine the information. It's a very specific look into your life and, the karma dharma wheel so that you can sort of better circumnavigate some of the traps that have caught you before so you understand what you're doing going forward. Running a ridiculous special on that through the night. Hit me up if you want one. Prayer at fatheroftribes.com. I'm going to seal this up on your prayer. Your children are being watched over by the angels, Aquarius. Dear guardian angels of my children, both born and unborn, let's say fur babies too. Thank you for watching over my children and ensuring their happiness and their safety. Please guide me so that I know the best ways to be a good parent and a role model for my own and other people's children. Amen. All right, that's what I got for you. I hope you liked it. I hope it made sense. So, thumbs up, share, subscribe. Let me know how it hit you. And if it tickled your funny bone, if you want a personal prayer or a reading, you know how to hit me. All my information is below. So, if I don't hear from you, I'll see you again in a couple of weeks when I'm back for the mid-monthlies. Bye for now. I'm going to clear up here a little bit, and we're going to jump into Libra. What's going on, Libra? Happy December to you. Lots of crazy stuff coming up in the channelings on all the tribes. You want to check them? Flipping your cards. Okay. These are pretty clear. Okay. I hear a lot of y'all. I don't know if you saw last month, but a couple weeks ago, there was some really crazy stuff going on around Libras. I'm hearing that some of y'all found out some shit, and that's what the seeker is. It's showing up as basically your challenge style energy, and that major transformations underway. Transformation card, which is a major arcana, shut up right in the center of this 13 here that says transformation. In this deck, the John Holland Psychic Tarot Oracle deck, is actually demonstrating what's known as the death card in like your Rider-Waite-Smith deck, which I think is a great card. It's like just saying that whatever it was that had to change finally has transmuted in some way. And in some cases it came at an emotional cost because of the physical material realm, 5 of Cups. I'm hearing in some cases just block throat chakra. Tongue-tied? I couldn't even say it. But they're saying you got to make the effort and let go of fear now. So I went through those really quick, Libra. We'll break them down, but that might sum it up for a lot of y'all. I'm hearing some of y'all just need to speak up. There has been some bullshit that was going on. I was seeing just some real nasty stuff around you guys a couple weeks ago, and it just it was coming different ways depending on which Libra you are, what your involvement was in it. But it was a mess. And I'm hearing in some cases, some of y'all just won't say shit even if you have a mouthful of it. And so I'm hearing in some cases you just need to speak up. Because I'm hearing in some cases somebody came and kicked your cups over and has not made the recompense. And in some cases, this is just you all saying, I'm done. seeking for something else. And if you're wondering if you can because you're like kind of anxious or trepidatious about it, you got an archangel showing up with a big sword saying, let go of fear now. It's like showing you have protection and you have some wings on your back. And so you're ready to fly. Like this magical butterfly person I'm being told is actually some of y'all. And they're saying all you got to do is spread your wings, baby. And that this is just the state that you found yourself in. And that it's a reminder that there's something else for you. And I'm hearing in some cases, that's what this is all about. This theme is seeking, going after it, light attributes. Because this is like your challenge style energy, how I use these. Carolyn Mace archetype deck. This is the first couple weeks, right? Light attribute state. Thirst for wisdom and truth wherever they are. Shadow attribute state. An ability to commit to a path once found. I'm hearing in some cases, that's what this is. This is some people maybe being like in that momentary hang at some point of this first part of the month, thinking about whether or not they want to take another path. I'm hearing in some cases it's been like, this has been like almost kind of martyrdom is what they're saying to me. You know, it's like I'm hearing that somebody felt like they needed to do that for some reason. There's some kind of obligation there. I mean, you're going to know if that's for you or not, but for a lot of people, this is just, you know, this is how situations have been playing out, or perhaps how somebody else is feeling in your world. I'm hearing in some cases, this is people that you're having to leave behind in some kind of way, or are treating you as if that's what you're doing. And the thing to do is to know that that's not what you're doing if you're like following your heart and if you're like in your center and your light space. And when you check into what it is that you're doing for yourself, if it feels centered and it feels good and like it's nurturing you and supporting you and like you're walking in the direction of your light, then this might just be people that don't like that this is what you are. That you're like this magical thing that doesn't need to be wearing false masks, because in some cases, like, I don't know if you can see that really well. See that thing she's like clutching? You see there? It's like a big statue looking like mask. It's like maybe what she was protecting or hiding herself under. It was like a false thing. And it's like, she woke up. It's like her third eye, and she's like supported, and she's like heart-centered. She's wearing all this green. It's like her heart is healed somehow. And she's just like going to explore that, her light. And sometimes people can't handle that. Sometimes they want to act like you did something to them. I'm hearing in some cases, this is just like something weird with like parental figures or weird, like just guidance and like the imprints that were left on us. And trust me, I know how this feels. I've had like an abusive parent be like spiritually, mentally, emotionally abusive towards me, where when I was doing this, you know, I was being told shit that made me very afraid, you know? You have a parent maybe, you know, telling you that you going after your light and like expressing your gifts is like not good. You know, you might have some shit people here telling you, no, you're not a magical butterfly. You can't do whatever you want to do. And you know what? I'm hearing, fuck that. Libra, make the effort. You're worth it. Let go of fear now. You got a big angel here encouraging you. And they're saying in some cases, you're that big angel. Okay. So cups can sometimes signify water element people. So if you don't have cups in your own chart, in your own constitution, which would be maybe Sun, Moon, Rising, and Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio, you might have people that have that in their chart. And they might be just trying to like involve themselves or being like mopey about it. I'm hearing in some cases that, you know, really what this is it's the holiday season. I'm hearing in some cases it's like wanting to be with somebody that may not be with you anymore. I'm hearing in some cases, this is not preemptive, that somebody has actually transformed because maybe they have departed from your life in some kind of way, and that this might be a state of melancholy, like missing that person. And what I'm hearing, though, is that some of y'all actually have a way to communicate with that person. I'm being told something about soulmates and like etheric partners, like watching you, protecting you from the sky, and that sometimes you can just like make the effort to communicate with that person, and that, they might be with you. This might be like an angelic presence in your world right now. I think some of y'all need to know that things like that are possible too, Let's see what the Seeker card says in the Carolyn Mace Archetype deck book. You always get a little bit more information out of these. Excuse me. All right, here we go. Libra. We've got 2 bullet points, 3 keywords, and a tip to keep in mind. Seeker, wanderer, vagabond, nomad. First bullet point says, may begin search with earthly curiosity, but has at its core the pursuit of wisdom and truth wherever they're to be found. The shadow seeker is the lost soul on an aimless journey without direction. The nomad or vagabond, disconnected from goals, and they emerge when the seeker becomes infatuated with the trappings of a practice or guru, but never actually changes underlying egocentricity. Good thing to keep in mind. The tip is to have a lookout for a lifetime pattern of constantly moving from one potential source of wisdom or truth to another. I'm hearing that's probably not the case for some of y'all, though. I'm hearing in some cases it's like really actually needing to leave whatever the state was here or those people, because transformation, like the direction that this person's looking, is like here to here to here. And it's like making the effort. Like this is the same person in green here, taking like maybe like a childlike approach and like demonstrating the love in their heart and going after the great love that's worth taking the steps that they're guided to take. That's actually what that card says there. So, in some cases it might be very romantic. I'm hearing in some cases this is like the end of what might have been a bad 5-year cycle is what I'm hearing, with some like emotional people that might have been like unglued and leaving that situation, it just being like over and done, and making that new direction, and just like the Libra being like, I'm not afraid of shit. I'm ready to go. I'm in my truth now. I'm in my light. And it's interesting. I'm hearing in some, wow, that is so cool. Didn't see that before. They had me looking at her third eye and how she's adorned here. I'm saying she, he, she, they, right? She's got that thing on her head. Look at this guy. Same thing. I'm hearing that this might be the seeker making that effort, because this was actually in between these here too, right? So it's like making that step after a difficult time. I'm hearing in some cases, this isn't sad at all. This is talking about throat chakra. Ignore the picture for a minute, okay? We can get lost in this if we're going to be very... Some people get really bent and they're like, that's not how you interpret the card. Okay, got it. I'm not giving you a card reading lesson here. I'm hearing what guides say. They can talk to me however they want, and I'm intelligent enough to discern this for you. So, what I'm hearing is, this could be ignored for right now, right? I'm not going to look at the picture. We're going to talk about the symbols of what cups are, emotion, right? And 5 as a chakra point. Getting a lot about people opening up their throat chakra, making the effort. And I'm hearing in some cases, all this is saying that some Libra got in touch with their emotional truth enough to leave their fear, seeking that which better pertains to their soul, because the time is nigh. For transformation, that is them making the effort. And this is not sad at all. You're going to know if it's for you. I'm just giving you things to work with here because some of y'all need to hear it because I'm hearing some of y'all have been just freaking scared of saying what's true. And what you need to know is that all of this energy is like potential that you can kind of mold and shape, and it's here now. So take advantage of it if it's yours, Libra, because this is transformative stuff. I'm going to read to you what the John Holland Psychic Tarot Oracle deck book says on that 13 transformation card, a.k.a. the Death card. I love this card. It's what always comes after the sacrifice. Incidentally, in this deck, the card before the transformation card is the sacrifice, a.k.a. the hanged man, hanged person. Interesting. Transformation. The time of endings is close at hand. Don't resist the abrupt changes that are suddenly happening in your life. These could be taking place in your personal life, relationships, business, or career. You have the strength, as the transformation card asks you to have courage and to know that renewal follows every conclusion. This card comes forth to remind you that the death of an old way of thinking and believing must occur before you can move forward on your new path. Transformation is all about the ebb and flow of life cycles. Nothing in this life remains motionless. Everything is on its way to somewhere. Accept the changes, and opportunity will come to expand you in more ways than you could have ever imagined. You can't live in the past. It's time to move on. In order to take the next positive step, you should look closely at your own life and ask yourself, are there loose ends that need to be tied up? Are there people in my life whom I need to express myself to? Third chakra, emotions. What needs to be completed so that I can have a fresh start? When you do so, you'll have a stronger, more reinforced foundation to carry you through the new beginnings that await you. Traditional tarot archetype, death. Whether or not it holds any romantic implication, great love is actually what motivates us to do things, right? So that begins within. Whether or not it has to do with another person and making some kissy face with, somebody that shares your life, that might be the case for some of y'all. I'm hearing for some of y'all, you needed to make the effort. And now you or that other person is regretting that they didn't go off and seek it. In some cases, it's a last-ditch effort. You know what? I hear go for the big love. But don't delude yourself. Don't delude yourself. Because you're worth a lot more than that. And there is something that's calling you. And it's about your light. It's about your transformation. And I'm hearing you just don't need to be afraid of it. So let's see what the book says on this. Romance Angels. Oracle cards. Make the effort, Libra. Great love is worth taking the steps you're guided to take. You receive this card because some action steps on your part are necessary in order for your prayers about your love life to be answered. The angels have opened the doors for you, and now it's time for you to walk through them. The first thing that comes to mind with respect to taking action is a good starting place for you. When you ask for spiritual help, you always receive it. Often this card comes in the form of intuitive guidance, which consists of repetitive feelings and thoughts. You get the sense that you should do this or that. You receive this card as a nudge to actually take that action. Then you'll start to receive the next piece of the puzzle, meaning another intuitive message about what to do. If you like, you can ask the angels to give you motivation, courage, time, and energy to take these steps. And know that each one brings you closer upon the pathway to great love. I'm hearing some of y'all just need to let go of the fear. We're going to actually seal it up on this prayer with the practical advice from Archangel Michael, because I think it's a good time for y'all right now, Libra. Don't be afraid. You got backup here. Okay, here we go. Dear Archangel Michael, please help me feel safe, deserving of your guidance. Thank you for clearing me of heavy, toxic, or ego-based relationships or feelings. Amen. All right, Libra, that's what I got for you. Hope you liked it. I hope it made sense to you. If so, thumbs up, share, subscribe. Let me know if it hit your funny bone. If you want a personal reading, hit me up. You can hire me at artoflove.me. Click services up at the top. Or hit me up at prayerfathertribes.com if you want some information about my future forward forecast. I'm running a ridiculous special through the 9th for all orders placed by then. It tends to be a 2-hour reading roundabouts. Very specific information dialed into your specific life path and journey to help you leave the karma behind for your dharmic future and following your true north. So I'm going to leave it on that. And if I don't hear from you, I'm praying for all y'all. And I'll see you again in a couple of weeks when I'm back for the mid-monthly. Bye for now, Libra. Going to just slide a little bit sage here, clear this up, and then we're going to wrap them all up on Gemini. What's up, Gemini? How you doing? Happy December to you. Go for your cards. Oh, Gemini, you're so excited. You guys are freaking adorable. Oh my god. Okay, so I don't know if you watch my channel and messages, but you probably should. There was a lot of stuff coming up, and it's funny. My guides told me we are going Aquarius, Libra, Gemini. And when I was clearing the space, and before I even got to like this part where I turned on the camera, and after I turned on the camera, I was like shuffling all the cards with you guys. Your guides were like trying to make you go first. They wanted me to do Gemini first. And they're like, Gemini, 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 Gemini. And I was just hearing, no, Aquarius, Libra, Gemini. So I hear some of y'all got ants in your pants. And it might be faux literal. A lot of my tribes showing up with the chakra cards on mine this month here. Gemini, you got that sacral chakra on your noodle. And I'm hearing lots of other places. There's a lot of fiery energy here, passion, stirring, swirling. I'm hearing get yourself a piece of carnelian. I've been talking about it. You had me working with this. I had a special going on for Thanksgiving through yesterday, through Cyber Monday, where I was doing, personals for people, and several of the readings that I was called to had a lot to do with sacral and root chakra issues. I'm hearing a piece of like red or deep kind of orange carnelian would be really helpful for y'all right now. Focus on this color. Your second chakra is like, it's the wandsy style energy that in some cases is great for conceiving children. I'm hearing in some cases ways that the doctor said couldn't fucking happen, and that y'all are some magical motherfuckers, and that some of y'all might be dealing with an Aries too. I don't know, Aries had something similar with, was it Aries? I think it was Aries. They had the magical child. And you have the child divine. I'm hearing in some cases, some of y'all had a magical conception where you need to know that it's possible. I'm hearing some of y'all have been working at it for a long time, and that there has been some perhaps issues with fertility and conceptions not happening, and that's what this like 9 of Pentacles is, that's showing up reversed in your life, and like the sacral swirl and like the womb going nuts and like wondering if something was going to happen. I'm hearing something about fertility issues and whether or not it was safe. And I'm hearing some of y'all need to keep your faith, because especially if you're dealing with somebody that's got some Aries energy, I'm hearing they might have been calling it into their third eye chakra was coming up. And they were saying something about admitting the truth. Wow, and I'm hearing something about an extramarital affair and a child that might have been conceived. And that it might be a quick exiting out of one thing, relationship, into another, and that, you know, there might be a commitment coming because of it. Wow, a lot of stuff going on. You guys should really check the other messages. I can't just dwell on that too much because I think I already explained those. So check the fire tribes, check the channel messages if you like. But anytime I get a chakra card showing up, especially as much as they have in the month here for December, so many of y'all getting these chakra cards. I'm just seeing some of y'all doing your work too, like really doing your work and being like committed to whatever this process is that's got you swirling, because this is some good energy here. I mean, this can be very frustrated, you know, if it's showing up like this. This way, I love this card, Nine of Pentacles showing up right. Always a good sign for me. You know, this is somebody that's cultivated a nice, cushy life. They're guided. They're beautiful. Shit's working. This way, sometimes just feeling very dissatisfied about what they don't have, or like feeling like something's just like missing. And especially if, like, all this sexual, let's say, swirly, passionate, fiery, creative energy is on the mind, it can be a lot. And I'm hearing for some people it's just like, being really careful about how they express this, you know, not feeling like maybe it's safe yet. I'm wondering if it is. I'm hearing that, you know, it could be the birth of a new beginning for a lot of y'all, because, you know, I use this Carolyn Mace deck, these archetypes, to demonstrate, show your overall challenge style energy for the time period. So in this case, it's going to be at least the first part of the month of December. It could actually go further, though, too, I'm being told. So I'm just going to read to you what the card says here. Light attributes, innocence, purity, redemption, suggests a special connection with the divine. Shadow attributes, an inability to defend oneself against negative forces. I'm hearing in some cases this has to do with a child that was hurt too. I was getting just a lot of wounded child messages before too, and something about some custody issues. I'm hearing in some cases this is about something that was conceived out of wedlock and trying to decide which relationship to commit to. And you know, it's like they're showing me the 9 already like this, but I'm hearing it's like maybe the child is like about to be born, or that it's something that might have happened around September. You're going to know if that's you or not, but I'm going to go ahead and just open up the archetype card book, and we're going to see what Carolyn Mace's book says on that divine child, because there's actually several children. This is one of the archetypes that we all play. We all have one of the children in our constitution. So I'm going to read you what it says about that, and then I'll read to you about this specific child, the divine child. And honestly, like, out of the 2 children, like, really, divine child and magical child are 2 of my favorite to work with, and you and Aries actually both pulled those cards. So, child variations include divine, eternal, boy, girl, magical, innocent, nature, abandoned, orphan, and wounded, many of which are present to some degree in every psyche. One aspect is usually dominant. So, divine child says, closely related to magical or innocent child, but distinguished by its redemptive mission, associated with innocence, purity, and redemption, godlike qualities that suggest a special union with the divine itself. Shadow divine child manifests as an inability to defend oneself against negative forces. And ask yourself, whether you see life through the eyes of a benevolent, trusting God, goddess, or tend to respond to others with fear of being hurt or with a desire to hurt others first. I'm hearing in some cases, like somebody's just being really defensive too, and it's like, just feeling like, you know, that one thing that you've been waiting for, like, is it safe to take it? You know, and that's why these are both like this, and that, you know, it's got a lot of things stirred. I'm hearing in some cases maybe like 2 years invested in something else, and it's like, do I make the commitment? And I'm hearing in some cases, go for it. I think you're going to know whether or not it's safe for you to love. But I'm hearing for a lot of y'all, this is just like only upside down because it's like just feeling nervous because you've been hurt before or disappointed about things. And sacral chakra, lower chakras, look, everybody's being encouraged to work on your lower chakras. A piece of carnelian might help. You don't have to get something this fancy. It's just one of my crystal balls that I happen to love. And I've been working with it a lot the past week because I'm hearing a lot of y'all need this right now. So do the things that are going to help ground you in those areas, because especially if you're making decisions or if you're even trying to conceive right now, they're saying the energy right now is really good for that, and that there's some magical things that could be happening, and a lot of it is how you choose to express your creative potential energy. And for a lot of y'all, it's just a magical time to be doing things that you didn't even realize you were doing. And I'm hearing like your art's taking off, whatever it is that you're doing. I was seeing some of y'all getting praised for things. I'm hearing in some cases, this too, showing up on your mind, is really about your twin flame. I'm hearing it's about like a divine partnership that has been wanting to come together, and I'm hearing something might have happened, like, I don't know, August, September, that sort of threw you off a little bit, but I'm hearing in some cases it might not be that bad, and if you've made the commitment to the relationship, you know, pay attention. I mean, there might be red flags. Maybe it's not quite safe for you to love, but you're being told that there's like a timing thing at work here, and I'm hearing that for some of you, it's like all that's missing is the commitment. It's like you've got it. Like all the recipes are here. Like the ingredients are here. And that the only thing that's missing is that you haven't committed yet to it. And you might just be kind of split in that decision. And so I'm going to open up, actually, let's talk about this card a little bit more too. Nine of Pentacles, Rider-Waite-Smith Tarot deck, showing up in the physical material realm in reverse. This is just telling me emphatically, I mean, look, some of y'all might be having some money stuff too. I'm hearing that, honestly, like this person doing great here, they show up like this, sometimes spending outside of their means. Sometimes it's because it's motivated by what they're not giving themselves or feeling that they're receiving in these lower, baser chakras, and that sometimes they need to get a handle on their credit card spending, is what I'm hearing. And that's like, you know, this is like them not defending their protective forces, which is one of the things that the divine child needs to do, is not be childish. Like this here, this is a person that's built a fortress around themselves. Everything is good and copacetic this way. It's kind of like they're forfeiting that. And it could just be because this energy is not being expressed in a way that's protecting like your assets, you know. So I got to say it. Take care of your business, darling. You can do it. And if you need to get a professional and get some help, you know, do it. I'm hearing it's a good time to maybe commit to that. In some cases, I'm hearing it's just like making a decision about a job that some of y'all are just on this like awesome path right now, and it's like you're kind of like, I don't love what I've been doing. I mean, it's okay, but you know, I don't love it, and I want to love it, and I'm like feeling all of this. I want to love it, and so it's like you're just trying to get there. And I'm hearing, take your time, make good decisions. Yes, you're magical, and if you're a child too, There might be more to learn before we just pop off in a fiery direction because we're feeling some swirling in the nethers. Got me? Just be careful with that. I'm going to read to you what the John Holmes Psychic Oracle Deck book says on the sacral chakra, because that's what's on your mind. I'm hearing sex for some of y'all. Wow. Sex. Maybe you need to have sex. Just be careful. Sacral chakra and all this stuff here. It's saying to me, for some of y'all, especially if there's multiple partners, maybe the reason why it's saying it's safe for you to live upside down is because you need to make sure it's safe for you to love. So I'm hearing in some cases, especially if you don't want to have a child in some divine way or not so divine way, you might want to wrap it up, y'all. So, sacral chakra, here's what it says in the book. Key facts, orange color. Sound, vom. Element, water. Glands, testicles, ovaries. Keywords, I want. Known as the sacral chakra, second chakra is located 2 fingers below your navel and relates to emotions, desires, creativity, and sexuality. To keep this chakra balanced and its energy flowing, try dancing, moving your hips and lower abdomen. Use a color meditation and practice yoga. Express your sexuality and nurture yourself. And remember, you do matter. And if you don't want an unexpected pregnancy, it's very possible that could happen. And maybe that's why it's saying it's safe reverse. And this is like showing you 9 months, maybe, upside down. And saying if you don't want something to happen there, you might want to be careful about that. Because I'm seeing that too. So there's no judgment here on any of that. Just saying be careful. Because maybe things can happen spontaneously that you are not expecting. So check it out. And I'm going to read to you what it says about it. Safe for you to love in the Romance Angels Oracle card book. It says on the card, open your heart to give and receive the highest energy of all. These don't actually have reversal meanings, I should just say. It just showed up upside down, so I'm looking at it that way, and I'm not negating the fact that the guides are giving me other messages for some of y'all. So if you need more information about that, check your, other aspects, your sun, your moon, and your rising are always good to look at. You can even compare other readers, Sometimes some readers might have more of your messages than other times, and maybe you just need a personal. So, keep that in mind too. The book says, this card indicates that you're protecting your heart from hurt because of painful relationship experiences. However, the angels can only bring as much romance as you'll allow inside. If you have a shield around your heart, how is love to get in? A closed heart repels the sensitive partner you're trying to attract. Following your inner guidance will protect you and simultaneously allow you to feel loved and loving. Trust your intuitive senses with respect to other people's trustworthiness, and open your heart to those who are kind and gentle. Ask the angels to bring caring individuals, including a romantic partner, if you're looking for one, into your life. And they'll do so, provided that you listen to and follow their guidance. I'm hearing some of y'all got it, too. I'm hearing some of y'all called in the whole enchilada. You've got it all. And I'm hearing in some cases, maybe they just live too far right now. They're showing me something about just a move excuse me, a move needing to happen, and I'm hearing a difficult conversation needing to be had. Wow. That was like a sudden stab, kind of pain in my throat that made me cough. I'm hearing some of y'all just need to brave up a little bit, especially if you really know that you've called in like a spiritual partner that you also can have all that great expression with, because I'm hearing it's really good. They're saying magical sex. It's like some of y'all are having seriously tantra with somebody. I'm seeing the number 11 here. We got a 9 and a 2. I'm seeing a 7. Some of these numbers might be important to y'all, but I'm hearing some of y'all just need to have a real conversation, especially if you know that that's your person. let me just give you a little clue here. Before I started doing this here, I had some really interesting jobs where I got paid a lot of money to sell stuff because I'm good at it. And one of the things that I learned when I was training other people to sell, like I did over the phone, really expensive things, some of the phone calls that I used to make would result in one phone call, a $5,000 to $50,000 sale, boom, like that. And when you're working at that level, there are things you have to learn about your communication. And some of those things are when to draw the line. And what I learned is that you can't say the right thing to the wrong person. Think about that. And conversely, Gemini, you can't say the wrong thing to the right person. So, if you're with the right person, and you know it, but you're just kind of worried about getting hurt, because before maybe you were with the wrong person that you can never say the right thing to, and they never let you live it down, guess what? The right person is not going to be turned off by your real feelings and you being freaking real about it. That's what people that are the wrong person for you, that's how they act. I'm just going to remind you, Divine showed up next to Make a Commitment, and I'm hearing some hot sex for some of y'all. So, hey, you're going to know if it's yours. I'm just going to leave you with those thoughts to consider, because I'm hearing for some of y'all, it's great, and all you need to do is put some effort into this thing. So, you're going to know how Make a Commitment hits for you there, Gemini, and I'm going to seal it up on the practical advice and a prayer from Archangel Michael to do that. Dear Archangel Michael, as the angel of courage and confidence, I call upon you to lend me your strength. Allow me to commit myself to my life and to my divine purpose. Please clearly guide me so that I can fully open my heart to every experience. Amen. All right, Gemini, that's what I got for you. I think it's going to rock, personally, so have a great month. If you want to hit me up for a personal reading, running a ridiculous special on my Future Forward. Information's below. 2 hours, all about your year ahead in specific detail to help you circumnavigate the bottlenecks that may be ahead. So, up to you. If I don't hear from you, I'm praying for you. I'll see you again in a couple of weeks when I'm back for your mid-monthlies. Bye for now.